Students, in the last class of digital communication, we have discussed about generator matrix, encoder and decoder for cyclic codes. Now, in this class, we will talk about the convolutional codes. Here we will start our discussion with the encoder, state transition, code tree and trellis diagram. Now let us proceed with what is convolutional code. Let us first define. Just read it. Convolutional codes. In the convolutional code, the block of n bits generated by the encoder in a time slot depends not only on the k message bits but also on the preceding L blocks of the message bits. Okay, depends not only on the k message bits but also on the preceding L block of message bits. The convolutional codes can be designed to either detect or correct errors. If you could remember the diagram, if you could remember the about the linear block code, the representation was that a code word is represented as k message bits followed by q check bits, right? This was the order of linear block codes. But in convolutional code, the order is totally different. As we have said, the at the output depends not only on the k message bits but also on the preceding L block of message bits. So these are the k message bits. If we are saying this, then preceding before this, there will be some message bits. So preceding L message bits will also contribute, will take part in deciding that what will be the output. Okay, so that will be more clear when we will discuss the diagram and we will take some example. We are just defining it right now. Okay, here one more point I want to say that the block codes which we have studied earlier are more suitable for error detection and the convolutional codes are more suitable for error correction. However, it does not mean that block codes are not sufficient for error correction. No, block codes are also good for error correction. But if we compare the two, we can say that convolutional codes have more capability to correct the error. Okay, so let us see the diagram of encoder for convolutional code to understand it. Let us say we have k message bit. For simplicity, if I say that k is simply equal to 1, for simplicity, if I say that, here let us say that k is equal to 1. Okay, then here it is 1 present bit and k minus 1, k minus 2. That means 2 previous bits here we have taken, just for example in this case. So in generalized way, we can say that k message bits are stored in shift register and previous some more previous L message bits are here, which will take part in finding out the output at different instant of time. So for example, as I have said that here we are seeing this shift register with 3 values only. So we can say assume that k is equal to 1, which is the here the input stream is coming from this side. So the present message bit is here, okay, and the previous two message bits are stored here. Okay, so what will happen here? You can see that vk1 and vk2 are the output. This is your output stream which will come here. Here it will switch, this commutator will switch from this to this position quickly. So one bit it will be taken from vk1, another one will be from vk2, then it will repeat again vk1, vk2. So output sequence here in this case we can represent it as x is equal to vk minus 1, vk for 1, vk minus 1 for 2, vk 1 for 1, vk 2 for 2. That means first it will take this, then this, then it will take value here again, then it will take its value, then it will take its value here again, and then it will go to this point, and in this manner it will move continuously till the input base stream will comes in. Okay, so in this manner the output will be generated here as vk1, vk2. So this output is totally different from the output code word which has been generated in your linear block code. Okay, where it was m message bits, k message bits followed by q check bits, while here the output generated is just the convolution of different bits in some manner, where not only the k message bits, present message bits will take part, but few L message bits, previous message bits will also take part. How they are taking part? We are doing nothing but the convolution. We are doing the XORing of few message bits, few previous message bits as well as present message bits. For this case, for the present case, you can see that this vk1 is equal to, this is dk minus 2 XOR dk minus 1 XOR dk. So vk minus 1, we can say here, is nothing but XORing of vk minus 1 is XORing of what? Vk minus 2, dk minus 1 and dk, right? While we talk about, if we talk about this XOR the vk2, so vk2 is nothing but XORing of this, which is dk minus 2, dk minus 2 XORed with this bit dk here, right? This and this, so it is XORed with dk. So in this manner, we convolute, we find the value of output bits. Okay, so this is just the starting point, just we are defining, so it will be more clear when we will take some example. So let us proceed further. First, once again, let us define the term. Before this, we have discussed this encoder diagram right now, right? So let us first read this. Convolution code differ from block codes. We have compared it from the block codes right now, so let us read it, that where it differs. Convolution code differ from block codes in the order that the encoder contains memory, right? And the n encoder output at any time unit depend only, not only on the k input bits but also on the m previous input bits, right? If we talk about the this linear block code, here present message bits and corresponding check bits were only there. There is no storage that previous message bits we were not entertaining, right? On the basis of previous message bits only, we were calculating the value of the current check bits for that code word, right? While here in this case, we are having the present k message bits and previous L message bits, and we are talking about previous L message bits. That means we are storing, we are having memory where we are storing the previous values, right? That is why it is written that convolution code differs from the block codes that in the order that the encoder contains memory. Why? Because the an encoder output at any time unit depends not only on the k input bits, not only on the k input bits, but also on m previous input blocks, right? So this is the difference between convolution code and the block code. Okay. Now the next point here is that n, how we represent it. There we represent block code as n comma k block code, right? Here we represent, if we represent it as nkm convolutional code, then that means an n comma k comma m convolutional code can be implemented with a k input. With a k input, you can see here, this is the k input. For this case, we have taken that k is equal to 1. With k input, n output. Here, you can see that for this case, two outputs we have taken, so n is 2, right? So, k input, n output linear sequential circuit with input memory m. M means these stored bits. How many memory elements, previous bits we are using, with input memory m. So repeating the words again, that n comma k comma m convolutional code can be implemented with a k input and output linear sequential circuit with input memory m. Typically, n and k are small integers with k less than 1. Okay, obviously here you can see that k is 1 and n is 2. So generally we say that n and k are small integers with k less than 1, but the memory order m must be made large. Why this memory element must be made large? To achieve low error probabilities. The larger the memory element, the code generated will be more uh, resistive against the noise. So the low error probabilities, to achieve low error probabilities. Just to introduce that, convolutional codes were first introduced by Alice in 1955 as an alternative to block codes. Now they are used widely for the purpose of error correction, whether single error correction or burst error correction. So now we can define this thing in proper manner that we have discussed, that a convolutional encoder with constraint length n. Constraint length n. What is the constraint length? It is based on the number of shift register. Okay, as written here, that a convolutional encoder with constraint length n consists of n stage shift register. As you can see here, this is your shift register of 3 stage in this case, of n stage shift register, and L modulo 2 adders. Okay, L modulo 2 adders. This is L and this is N. So repeating again, that a convolutional encoder with constraint length n consists of n stage shift register and L modulo 2 adders. Okay, figure shows an encoder for the case n equal to 3 and L equal to 2. The coded data stream is obtained at the commutator output here. Right? There are small n is equal to capital N plus k minus 1 into L digits in the coded output for every k data digits. This is an interesting point, that how are we obtaining the output? We have discussed that x is equal to, we take vk1 value and then we take vk2 value, and we will successively repeat it again and again and again till the input data bits will come here continuously, right? So in order we can easily find this, that there are n equal to capital N plus small k minus 1 into L digits in the coded output for every k data digits. Okay, when you will take some example, you will insert some bits here and then you will calculate the output. It will be clear to you in a proper manner. So now, before taking example, let us do one more thing. The graphical representation for convolutional encoder is basically done with the help of either code tree, code trellis, and state diagram. Right? These are all different ways to graphically represent the convolutional code. So we will discuss all these things one by one. For example, and for that we need state diagram. What is this state diagram? Let us say I am inserting bit sequence from here. Let us say it is 0 1 0 1 1 1, whatever is the sequence is coming from here. Initially I say that all the bits are 0 0, it is 0 and it is also 0. Now output vk1 and vk2 will be, when XOR here, it will be 0 and it will also be 0 initially, right? Now we define the states of the previous memory elements, simply. So the memory element here are 2, so we can say that we can define the status of these memory element as they can have either value 0 0 1 0 0 1 or 1 0. So based on this we define the state. The state here, so the state is basically, if it is 0 0, we say that it is state A. It is 1 0, let us say that it is state B. Similarly, if 0 1, let us say it is state C. And if it is 1 1, let us say it is state D. Then when these bits will come, let us say a 0 is coming, so this 0 will shift here and this 0 will shift here. So the next state will again be 0 0, right? That means the initial state was 0 0 and the next state will again be 0 0, right? So we say that it will go from state A to state A and the output will remain as 0 0 because everything is 0, right? So in code tree, how will we represent this? In code trellis, how will we represent this? And in state diagram, how will we represent these states? We will see this. For example, let us talk about the code tree. Coding and decoding is considerably facilitated by what is known as the code tree, which showed the coded output for any possible sequence of data digits. Now, as we discussed, that how will we represent it? That if a 0 is coming, that means it will remain in state A from state A and the corresponding output will be 0 0. VK1 VK2 will be 0 0. So we represent it like that. In a starting point, the initial state initially is A because it is 0 0, the contents are 0 0 here. Then if a 0 is coming from here and will shift, so it will remain 0 0 and output will remain 0 0. So we say that it will go from state A to state A and output VK1 VK2 are 0 0 and state is also 0 0 means A, right? And if I say that if 1 is coming here, initially it was 0 and it was 0, right? Now if a 1 is coming here, this 1 will shift here and this 0 will shift here, so it will become 0 1, or should read here from this side to this side, so I will say that it is 1 0. So 1 0 means state B. And for 1 0, if we calculate, a 1 is here at dk1 minus 1, 0 is here and a 0 will be here, so it will be 1 here, and since it is 0 and this is 1, so it will be 1 here. So we say that the output will be 1 1, vk1 vk2 will be 1 1 here and state will be B. Okay, this is the way how we represent it in the code tree. I will explain this complete diagram with the help of a suitable example instead of explaining it here right now. So I have just defined the terms basically here, and we will discuss all these terms in detail with the help of a suitable example. So now let us take the example to understand all the things. I will discuss code tree, code trellis, state diagram, everything with the help of one example. Okay, so let us take the example. The example given is a rate 1 by 3 convolutional encoder has generator matrix G1, G2 and G3 as given. We have to sketch the encoder, we have to draw the code tree and the trellis. Also it is given that if input is 10110, determine the output. Now the first part, that a rate 1 by 3 convolutional encoder. A rate 1 by 3 is what? K by n. Okay, that means 1 message bit and 3 bit shift register, right? Convolutional encoder. Generator matrix is given to us as G1 is 100, G2 is 111 and G3 is 101. This is what the output. Okay, so how will we draw the encoder for this case? The first case, sketch the encoder. So how will we draw the encoder? We will say that okay, present bit is only 1, so let us say the input is coming from this side. Let us say this is the present bit, then we need two previous bits as per the given condition. So previous two message bits will be stored, so it is 1 by 3 encoder. Okay, then we say that three outputs are here as given, that G1 is 100, G2 is 111 and G3 is 101. Okay, so what we need, that G1 is 100 means 1 is the first term M, so we have connected M here. 00 means we are not connecting M0 or M1 to this. Okay, so it is simply giving us 100. Now when we talk about G2 is 111, that means there are all three connections. One is from M, another one is from M0 and third one is from M1. Okay, then the third case is G3 is equal to 101. So 101 means the first bit and third bit should be connected. So first M is connected here, you can see this, and G3 for G3, this third bit is also connected, but not the second, since second is 0. So third bit is this one, so M1 is connected. So this is the output G3, this is the output G2, and this is the output G1 by XORing these terms as we have discussed. So in this manner we can draw this encoder diagram. I hope this encoder diagram is simple and is clear to everyone. Okay, now the next point is draw the code tree and trellis. So now we will discuss that how basically we will draw the code tree and the trellis diagram from this encoder. So first of all, I have redrawn this here, the encoder. Then as we have discussed, that we have to define the states and we have to find the value of states continuously as per the input sequence, right? So here we can again define in a similar manner as I said in the last slide, that state A is defined as the 2 bits are 0 0, state B is defined as if the 2 bits are 1 0, state C is defined as 2 bits are 0 1, state D is defined as 2 bits are 1 1. Two previous bits, remember these are the two previous bits, because here in this case the input is coming from this side. Okay, here the input is coming from this side, so we are defining the states based on the condition of the previous two bits, not the present bit. Okay, you can see here that these are the previous two message bits. So based on the condition of these previous two message bits, we define these states, whether it is 0 0, that is state A, whether it is 1 0, that is state B, whether it is 0 1, it is state C, or whether it is 1 1, that is state D. Now, as we discussed, let us continue that how will we define the state. We will write a table. First of all, we will write the input bit in the table. That means this input bit M we are talking about, that it may have the value 0 or it may have the value 1 depending upon the data sequence. For the present case, the data sequence is given to us. The input is 1 0 1 1 0. But first we will discuss in a generalized manner that we will take both the value whether it is 0 or 1. Based on that we will define the state, and so we will draw the generalized state diagram, then we will move further. Okay, for the specific given sequence. So the M message bit here may have value either 0 or it may have value 1. So based on that, when it will be having 0 value, it will be shifted here, the next state will be 0 0. When it is 1, it will be shifted here, then the next state will be 1 0, right? So for that we will write a complete table as written here for all the cases. How will we write that? We will write the following points, that input bit M position whether it is 0 or it is 1. Then we write the current state. Current state is depending upon these two, that means M0 and M1, right? The previous two real element. So current state may be A. For this A state first we are calculating, then we will move further. Okay, then at the same moment when the current state is there A, the initial state is always A because it is 0 0. Initially we say that the contents are 0 0, so initial state is always A. We start from this point. We say that when the current state is A, at that moment the input bit coming may have the value 0 or 1. So we have written the two cases, that first case when input bit is 0 and the second case when the input bit is 1. Then we said that that at this moment content of shift register are M0 M1, right? M0 M1, M0 M1 at this moment is 0 0, right? So M0 M1 at this moment we have written 0 0, and we have said that as per the input bit whether it is 0 or it is 1, we said that M is 0 or M is 1, right? So these are the contents of the shift register. Contents of the shift register. Then we say that at the same moment what is the value of output? Output means G1, G2 and G3. And how will we calculate? We will calculate G1 as XORing of 1, 0, 0. So it is simply first term, that is M. So G1 is nothing but directly the M, value of M, this one, right? And since these other terms are 0. G2 is XORing of M with M, XORing with the previous two bits, that means M0 and M1, right? And G3 is XORing of 1 and third bit. We are neglecting the second bit since it is 0. So we will find out the value of G1, G2 and G3 for this case, and we will define that val vector will be the next state. What will be the next state? In the next case, this m will shift from here to here. So what will be the structure? That in the next case, if the initial state is 0 0, then this 0 will switch to this side. That means this 0 will come here and this 0 will move out, that will move out, and this m will come here, so this m will come here. So next state will be m0, where m may have value either 0 or m may have value either as 1. So next state will be m0, means either it is 0 0 or it is 1 0, right? So we will define the next state here. So for this case, first case, we are talking about then when state is A, this bit may be 0 or this bit may be 1. So let us say I write it 0 here and 1 here, right? So the case when it is 0, the contents of the shift register are 0 0 0. So that is why what we have written here, that the contents of the shift register are 0 0 0 and present state is A when the input is 0. At the same moment, if we find the value of G1, G2, G3, since all are 0, obviously XORing of this, all the cases it will be 0. No need to calculate anything. We can say that G1, G2, G3 are 0 directly here. And the next state will be, since this is 0, it will move further here. So next state will be, and this will move here. So the next state will again be 0, 0, right? So the next state is 0. That means we can say that the next state again be A. While if the present state is A and the input is 1, right? So input is 1, so this 1 is coming here, so it becomes 1 0. So the next state is 1 0. So the next state is 1 0 if the input is 1. That means the next state will become V if the input is 1. And at the same moment, if it is 1 we are saying, then it means it is 1 and these were 0. So we say that the content of the shift register right now are 100, and at this moment if we calculate the value of G1, G2, G3, we are saying that it is 100. So it is 1, it is 0 and it is 0, right? So when we XOR 100, the I should write it here that it is 1 and it is 0. I should write it here. All the three cases, that means it is 1, it is 0 and it is 0, and it is simply 1 coming here. So we will say that it is 1, and then we can say that G1 is 1. Then what about G2? G2 is 1 XORing of the 3, right? So 1 XOR 0 will give us the value as 1 again. And G3 is XORing of 1 and third position. First one is 1 and third one is 0. So XORing of these two will give us a value as 1 here. So it will be 1 again. So G1, G2, G3 have value 1. That means the output is 1 and the next state is B. Similarly, you can do it further for the next case. Okay. So first of all, for this case, if we will draw the code tree, let us first write all the states in this manner. Just write these states. Check that whether you are able to write this in this manner as we have discussed or not. Just do this first. We have done this portion. Now this portion we are talking about that if it is in state B, that means the input bits are 1 0. We are talking about this case. And at this moment I am saying that the m bit, the present message bit coming from this side, may have the value either 0 or may have the value 1. Okay, so if it is 0 value, we can read it as 0 1 0. We can read it as 0 1 0. These are the content of the shift register, that is m, m0 and m1. And if it is 1 here and the state is 1 0, so we will read the content as 1 1 0, the present content. Based on these values of present content, we will find out the value of G1, G2, G3. Now you should remember that G1 is nothing but m value. So we say that it is 0, so G1 is 0. Since it is 1, so G1 is 1 here. Now G2 is what? XORing of, you could remember, G2 is what? XORing of all the three, M, M0 and M, M1 and M2. Right? So XORing of the 3 bits. XORing of the 3 bit will give us the value of G2. So 0, 1, 0 XOR, we will get 1 here. Right? 1, 1 and 0. XORing the 3, this is become 0. So G2 will become 0 here. And what about G3? G3 is XORing of first and third. First and third. So here the first bit is 0, third bit is 0. Right? So XORing these two bits will give us the value as 0. Here the first bit is 1 and third bit is 0. So XORing these two will give us the value as 1 here. So this is how we will find G1, G2 and G3 for this case. And if the present state is 1, 0 and the input is 0, so this 0 will come here and this 1 will come here. So the next state will have the value 0, 1, right? So we are saying that next state will have the value 0, 1, and 0, 1 means we have defined 0, 1 state as C. So we will write that from B state it will go to C state if the present input is 0, and if the present input is 1, we can see here that this 1 will come here and this 1 will come to this position. That means this 1, 1 will shift and will take these two values for the next case, that is shown here. So the next state will become 1, 1 and 1, 1 state is defined as the state D. Okay, so we can say that from B state, if the current input is 1, the next state will be D, that is 1, 1, and the corresponding output will be 1, 0, 1. Similarly, you can easily find it out by yourself that if the current state is C, that means 0, 1 are the content, then if the present input is 0, then it becomes 0, 0, 1. It becomes 0, 0, 1. And if the present input is 1, then it becomes 1, 0, 1. So we say that it is 1, 0, 1. And if it is 0, 0, 1, XORing the we will take the first bit only. So for G1, so 0, G1 is 0. We will take the first bit only for G1, so this is 1 here. We will say that XORing all the 3 bits. So XORing all the 3 bits means 0, 0, 1 XOR, we will get 1. So the second bit is 1 here. XORing all the 3 bits here means 1, 0, 1 XORing, we will get 1 and 1, 0, 0 and 0, 0. So it will be 0 here. Right? And first and third bit XOR. First and third bit XOR means 0 and 1 XOR means we will get a 1 here. So it is 1 here. If we take first and third bit XORing here, so first and third bit means 1, 1, so first and third bit XOR 0 and 1, so we will get 1 here, and first and third bit XOR, that means we should write 1, 0, 1, that means 1, 1, so it should be 0. It is incorrect, it should be 0. So the corresponding output will be 1, 0, 0 in this case. Okay, then the bit position is 0, 0 here, so next bit position will be 0, 0. So that means next state for 0, 0 is A. Here these two bit position are 1, 0, so 1, 0 will be the next two bit position, that means 1, 0 will be the next state, that is B. Similarly for state D, you can easily do it by yourself, that the corresponding output will be 0, 0, 1 or 1, 1, 0, and the next state from D, if the input is 0, will be state C, and if the input is 1, the next state will be 1, 1, that is state D. It will remain in the same state with output 1, 1, 0. So we have to keep this state transition matrix in our mind. We have to draw this state transition matrix, which is very much important. If we can draw this state transition matrix, if we can draw this state transition matrix properly, as you can see that I have also done one mistake by chance, right? So this should not happen, that if we will do a mistake, everything we will do incorrectly later on. Okay, so we should not do any mistake. We should not do any mistake. This transition matrix is very much important and we should write it properly. Okay, then everything depends on this state transition matrix, state transition table, I should say. So let us discuss all the things one by one. Let us discuss about the code tree diagram now. I have written the values of state transition matrix here just for convenience, that if you have not noted down in your copy, then you can refer this from here, because we will refer this state transition matrix again and again, whatever we will draw, whether it is code tree, whether it is state diagram, or whether it is trellis. Okay, so let us first talk about code tree. So for code tree, as we have discussed in past, that we will start with the bit position, and here we have three positions, and we say that we will check the present memory location, and initially we say that all the contents are 0. So the memory contents are 0 0, so we say that initially it is in state A, right? So initial condition is this one. We start from here, that we say that initially it is in state A and the input may be 0 or the input may be 1. Now the input coming may be 0 or input coming may be having value 1. So based on this, the first state A we will start, and we say that the corresponding output now are either 0 0 0 as written here, or the corresponding output are 1 1 1 written here. And for 0 0 0, actually from state A it will remain in the same state 0 0, that means state A. So from state A it will go to state A again with output 0 0 0 if the input is 0. That is what we have said. And if the input is 1, if the input is 1, then from state A it will go to state 1 0, that means state B. It will go to, if it is 1, then it will go from state A to state B, and the corresponding output is 1 1 1. So we have written that the corresponding output is 1 1 1. Then similarly, now if the state is B here, then depending upon the position of the input, whether it is 0 or 1, we say that if input is 0, the state is 0 1, that is C, and if the input is 1, the state is 1 1, that is state E. So repeating this, that B, in case of state B, if the input is 0, in case of state B, if the input is 0, 0 is we always move towards upward, and 1 means we are moving downwards from that state. Remember, repeating again, from any state whenever we move further, we have two options. That means from that state we have to move either upwards or downwards. If input is 0, we move upward. If input is 1, we move downward, and we will proceed towards the next state. That accordingly what will be the next state. Okay, so from B state, if input is 0, we have seen that in B state input is 0, the next state is 0 1, that is C. So from B state, if input is 0, the next state is C, and the corresponding output for this case is 0 1 0. So the corresponding output for this case is 0 1 0. Similarly, from the B state, if the current input is 1, the next state is 1 1, that is D. So from the B state, if the current input is 1, the next state is D, that is 1 1. And the corresponding output for this case is 1 0 1. So the corresponding output we write here as 1 0 1. Similarly, we will move further as we did here. We will do the same thing here, that this is state A. So from state A, if input is 0, it will move again to state A with corresponding output 0 0 0. The same replica will be here. Similarly, again state is state A, so it will move further to state A if the input is 0 and the corresponding output will be 0 0 0, and to state B if the input is 1 and the corresponding output will be 1 1 1 here, and it will continue further. We will continue in the same manner further as per the number of bits, input bits present. Okay. Similarly, if state B, we have seen that from state B it will go to either state C or state D. So we will move further, that if from B it will go to state C or it will go to state D, and the corresponding output we will write as we have done here. Right? It is 1 0 1 as we have done here. Similarly, we will do once for C and D, and we will copy that again and again further. Okay, so from state C you can easily check this, that this is the state C, and from state C it is going to state A if the input is 0. So from state C, if the input is 0, it will go to state A, and the corresponding output is 0 1 1. So the corresponding output is 0 1 1. And in state C, if the corresponding input is 1, then the state will be 1 0, that means B. So from state C, if the input is 1, so the next state will be 1, and the corresponding output is 1 0 1. So the corresponding output is, as I said that I did this mistake in the last slide, it was 100, so I have corrected this, that it is 100, so it is 100. Okay. Then similarly you can do it for the last one, that is D state. For D state, if input is 0, you can see that the state is C, F, and if the input is 1 in the D state, the state is C. So from D it is going to C or D, right? So from D state it is going to C state if input is 0, and from D state it is going to state D if it is input 1, and the corresponding output is 0 0 1 for 0, and for 1 it is 1 1 0. So we have written here as the corresponding output is 0 0 1 if the input is 0, and if the input is 1 the corresponding output is 1 1 0. So this is the complete code tree, and we will continue further. We will continue further in all the cases, right, till we will get the correct complete sequence. That means for the present case, if we talk about the sequence is 1 0 1 1 0. So how will we proceed? We will start from the first point, that okay, let me change the color of pen first. So we will say that the input sequence is here 1 0 1 1 0. Let me write it here first. It is 1 0 1 1 0. So we will start from here. Okay, first is 1. So from this position it will proceed this path. Next is 0. So for that it will proceed this path. Then next is 1. So from this stage it will proceed this path. Then next is 1 again. So here if there are two paths, we will say that it will proceed downward path towards 1. And in the next state again we will say that since it is 0, it will proceed upward path towards 0. So in this manner this code tree will follow the path as per the given input. Okay, so this is about the code tree. Similarly, if one is clear to you and this matrix, this table is in your mind, you can draw anything further, right? So now let us talk about the code trellis diagram. Again, we will keep in our mind this transition table. Here, we should remember that how we are doing. What we are doing, that we will write first of all the states as written here. I am writing it here first. Okay, I will, what we will do, we will write all the states in the left side. A, B, C, D are our 4 states for the present case, and this is the input side actually, the initial side, and then the corresponding output we will talk about. Then the next state, we know that from these states it will go to one of the states again. That means either it will remain in A state or it will go to B, C or D state. So that is what we have written here, that state A, B, C, D is the current state, and the next state will be again A, B, C, D. Now, how will we proceed? We say that we have seen that if the state is A, it will go from state A to state A if the input is 0. So, we have said that the input is 0, so it will go to state A again, and the corresponding output is 0 0 0. So, we have written the corresponding output as 0 0 0, right? And if in state A the input is 1, then the next state will be 1 0, that means B, and the corresponding output is 1 1 1. So if the input is 0 for current state A, it will go to state B 1 0 with the corresponding output 1 1 1. So this is another way we are representing exactly the same thing what we have done in the code tree diagram, right? So let us proceed further and let us complete it. If in state is B and input is 0, the output will be 0 1 0 and state will be 0 1, that is C. So if state is B, input is 0, output is 0 1 0, and the state will be C. Okay, through this path. And if in B the input is 1, the state will be D 1 1. So from B, this is the path that state will be D 1 1, and the corresponding output in this case is 1 0 1. So we have written the corresponding output is 1 0 1. Similarly, we can write for C and D. Let us take one more C. Then from C state, if input is 0, the state will become A. So from C, we will draw that state will become A, and the corresponding output for this case is 0 1 1. So the corresponding output we have written is 0 1 1. And from state C, if the input is 1, we say that the state is 1 0. So from C 0 1, if the input is 1, we say that the state is 1 0, and the corresponding output for this case is 1 0 1. The corresponding output is, sorry, I did this mistake earlier. I said that, I corrected that, so it was 0. So it is corresponding output is 1 0 0. So it is 1 0 0. Okay. Similarly, the last case you can draw it by yourself easily, that from D state it will go to state C, and the corresponding output is 0 0 1. So it is here, and if it is 1, then output will be 1 1 0, and the state will remain D. Okay, so this is another representation from the state transition diagram, that is known as trellis diagram. Okay, both are similar in some manner. The representation is little bit different, right? And the next one is state diagram. Again, for the state diagram, we will use this state transition matrix, and we will represent the states. Okay, so as of now, we have discussed trellis diagram and code tree. Now we have to discuss the state diagram. So at present, we are finishing this class, and as of now, in the convolutional code, we have discussed the encoder, we have discussed the state transition table, we have discussed the code tree, and we have discussed the trellis diagram. We will continue in the next class with the state diagram. Then we will talk about the output sequence. And as in this question, input sequence was given, we will find out the output sequence, and then we will find out that if there is any error, how we will find out that error, and how we will correct that error with the help of Viterbi decoding. Okay, so this is all what we will discuss in the next class. Okay, till then, thank you.